And so today we have another guest, Ms. Maria Peralta, who comes from the organization Common Ground Society. Welcome to the show, Líderes del Futuro, here on KBBF 89.1 FM.
Hi, Rafael. Thank you for having us on today to talk about autism awareness and acceptance.
So one of the things, especially with the Latinx community, autism is something that is not truly understood. And in fact, I would say anywhere in the world, autism is like something that we are just beginning to learn. And as a result of that, people often get judged because of their behavior without people truly understanding that they may have special needs. And so when we talk about autism, we need to understand the autism spectrum and what it is. And so what can you tell us about, first of all, about your organization, Common Ground Society? What is it that you all do?
So Common Ground Society is a group of moms and dads, families basically, that come together to help each other, support each other in getting information and resources. Is that once you get a child diagnosed with autism or any other disability, actually, you can get, firsthand knowledge. I've been there. We can support you, can help you, get information, and you're more than welcome to join us. So,
Definitely. And so you yourself then are a mom who's gone through that experience of learning that your child has autism.
Yeah, so I'm here today actually to share my experience, what my path has been with my son, who's 8 years old and has autism, what I've learned and what I continue to learn, right? Because we always learn more about the condition itself and how to help them. So autism, actually, it's very complex. It's a developmental condition that can impact a person's social skills, communication, and self-regulation. It's in a wide range of behaviors that are affected. It can be in their sensory, like touching, hearing, speaking. But we have to understand that every individual with autism is impacted differently. No one person is the same. The common saying is, if you met one person with autism, you met one person with autism, correct? Mm-hmm. And so right now, we don't know what's caused autism to be an issue for some of our children. But what we do know is the theories is that it could be genetics, it could be parental age, it can be environmental conditions. We just don't know yet. So some of the symptoms is that I saw in my son, at least, is that he had repetitive movement, which is one of the common things that you see: repetitive speech, repetitive head movement, hand movement, that through various treatments. And again, treatments depends on the family, what they want to pursue. Not all families pursue the same treatments the same. Some do ABA, some do dietary changes, some do speech therapy, occupational therapy. There's a wide range of supports depending on the needs of the child.
And so it's, again, learning that your child may have differences can be difficult for a lot of families. And so some families may be hesitant to go to the doctor because part of it is, I believe, that now they truly begin to see that their lives are going to be different, their own lives and their child's life. Can you share how your experience was?
Sure. So my son actually at 13 months couldn't talk. And so we thought, well, maybe he just needed the glasses so he could hear our mouths move or the letters being written. But even then, at 18 months, he still couldn't talk. And then at that point, he started to line up crayons, toys by size or by color and shape. And then as far as socializing with other children, he played separately. So we thought, as far as, I did a little bit of research on my own parent, obviously, right? And I went ahead and went to Kaiser and said, I got to get him evaluated. And after 4 or 5 hours of evaluation, it was confirmed that he had autism. And what they did is they went ahead and saw how he behaved with other toys, with dolls, how would he react, what were the repetitive behaviors. And of course, when you get the diagnosis, as a parent, you're kind of like, oh gosh, what's next? What do I do now? Who knows what my answers are as far as, where do I go? What forms do I fill? So I completely understand as far as, my personal experience that it can be frustrating. It can be, you can have sadness, you can feel alone and not sure what you're going to do now. So, in my situation, I had just, finished college, gone into the military. I served in the Latinx community for various years helping, and then now gone to college. And 3 months afterwards, find out that, oh, he has autism and you have to stop your career a bit, right? So it was difficult. And I completely understand how for some families it's difficult to accept sometimes. And even though we got the diagnostic that he was autistic, I still have family members that said, "Oh, he's just being babied. Oh, he'll grow out of it. What do the doctors know? No, he's fine. I don't see anything wrong with him." And so I urge your listeners that if you have a diagnostic of autism for your child, connect yourself with the support of North Regional or whatever other sources they also provide you, and to connect with Medi-Cal and start the services to get early intervention, because that's the best way to get your child some help to help them develop and help learn to regulate themselves through occupational or speech, whatever the needs may be that they need. And if they're in school, definitely make sure that they are aware that they're going to need support services, correct? And this is supposed to support inclusion of our children. Even if they have autism, they can still be included in all activities as long as they're accommodated through the school.
I was reading the other day this posting that somebody did, a colleague of mine did, and it says a child with, they use the word disabilities. I personally don't like to use that word, even though technically I'm disabled myself. But a child with disabilities often spends hours being taught how to interact with others. But why don't we spend time teaching those without disabilities how to interact with them? And this comes actually from the organization about about life about autism. And so again, we often will receive support so that children can fit into society. And so I'm grateful that you're here, because we, as the rest of society, need to learn how to welcome individuals with differences, as I like to call them, into the general grouping. We all have differences in learning. We all have differences in what we like and we don't like and everything else. But we just like to call ourselves some form of normal, whatever that is. And I think we need to be more appreciative of the diversity of our community. And then remind the community that, again, it's important to understand that all children, regardless of their differences, have the right to an education.
Exactly.
And, one of the things I like is that now you have this organization in Sonoma County, because many years ago, I would take some time out of my regular job to be able to go and advocate at an IEP meeting. And sometimes the schools would say, you know what, yeah, the tests say this, but he looks like he can do this thing. And it's wonderful, but the test says this. I had one at a high school I will not name out of respect, but I actually asked for the IEP testing, and it wasn't necessarily about autism, it was a learning challenge. But I asked for the report ahead of time. I sent it to a colleague, and the colleague identified one item where the child was having much difficulty. And we went to the IEP. The mom didn't even want to go, but I went with the child, and the school went over it, and then they said, yeah, he's fine. And I said, if you go back to page this, it clearly says that he needs support there. And they reluctantly provided the support because the law requires it. And the kid was able to graduate high school, right? But it's about the advocacy, right? It's about parents learning that they have the right to raise their hand and say, yes, and my child has the right to an education. And I understand that it's difficult for administrators at schools. I understand it's difficult for the school system in general. I understand there's the limitations in funding. But as I've been saying for a while now, everybody loves to talk about equity until they have to create equity for everyone, right? So I'm glad that you're here sharing part of your story. I'm glad that you have this organization. And what can parents do if they want to reach out to you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they can connect with us through Facebook. I think that's the easiest. If you have a difficulty, ask your teenage son or daughter, right, to help you, just go Common Ground Society, and then connect with us, join our group. And then right away, you're going to see a whole bunch of information and questions and answers as to where you can look for information or resources for your child, activities that are inclusive of, all disabilities or abilities, whatever, how you want to word it, right? So definitely let's include all the families and all activities that we can have a community that's inclusive. right? Just like you said.
And talking about activities, you have an event coming up.
Yes. So I'd like to invite your audience to, we have an event this weekend. It's the Easter egg hunt. It's free. It's at 10 a.m. at the Epicenter. It's near Pioneer Road, if you're not familiar. And I just encourage you to join the Facebook group, our group, right, to register. And you meet so many families that are loving and can share your experience and completely understand where you've been, right? And where you're, give you help. And also we have another event for those who are wanting to come. It's going to be May 14th. It's called Café Conversaciones. It's free. It's from 10 to 12. It's at Kaiser Park, 700 Windsor River Road in Windsor. And it's a collaboration between Common Ground Society and Humanidad to help give information and resources for mental health and wellness as well.
Definitely. And again, it's important for people to understand it may feel, especially at first, like you are dealing with this and like nobody else has gone through this, but you shouldn't have to feel that way. There is this group, parents specifically, supporting each other in order to be able to succeed. And remember, everything you do, it should be for the benefit of your children. And so with that, Maria Peralta, we want to thank you for taking the time and being with us here on KBBF 89.1 FM and on the web at kbbf.org and your show, Líderes del Futuro. Thank you.
Thank you.